Well, hello everyone. Welcome to World at War Comics. My next special guest is Mr. Evan Golden. We're actually kind of neighbors here in Southern California. Evan, it's a pleasure to meet you, and congratulations on your title, man. But before we jump into that, maybe you could kind of let us know how you're doing this weekend.
Yeah, it's so nice to meet you, Thomas, and thank you for having me here on the show. Yeah, so I'm here down in San Diego, California, and just 4 issues in on my book, Lani, with the series The Light in the Dark, and
Yeah.
I just love writing it and excited to talk about it.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. Thank you so much for sending me some copies, man. That was a lot of fun to read. I think I read it the first time we talked, and then I started traveling, and we kind of separated, and we came back. So then I had to go back and reread issue 4. But man, super exciting stuff. All the right. So we got the pulling the strings, the lightning strings, the trapped in the strings, and then we have cutting the strings, which is
Yeah.
issue 4, which is really awesome, man. But let's get into maybe a little bit of your background, Evan. When did this passion for comic books begin in your life? Have you always been a comic fan?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I think I probably have a different path than most people. So
Yeah.
I grew up in the Northeast, and I always had an interest in comic books back then, and primarily in things like Wolverine. Growing up in the '90s was a lot of fun for me. But I was even more connected to the cartoons and the shows back then. So I found that just to be a lot of fun in the animation side. Watching the X-Men cartoon, watching Spider-Man, watching, oh my god, Batman the animated series. Who doesn't like that? And then from there I kind of got disconnected from it for a long time. And what drew me back in were things, honestly, like it was a while. It drew me in was like the Nolan trilogy, as well as um just like the MCU, which just blew everyone's mind. So um started really getting more and more passionate at that point, just researching characters, learning their storylines, learning the runs, and then learning the writers. And I started then watching a lot of the Netflix shows, and realized street level crime was my jam. And I really loved the idea of eventually writing something. I got drawn in by Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run. As you could see, I'm representing Daredevil
Yeah.
here, and I found that he was probably one of my favorites, as well as like Batman. But that Netflix stuff really kind of inspired me to want to, as well as Chip's work, to write my own book. And so I drew from some influences that I have in my life, and got the character going.
That's so awesome. Yeah, Chips, it's probably his most popular. I know he's been on Batman for a while and that's been successful, but it's probably his most popular run was his Daredevil run. It's the one a lot of people talk about when you mention Chip Zdarsky. And yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And then the Netflix show, next level, incredible. So I'm kind of hoping that Disney does it the same way. I mean, it seems like they're trying, right? They brought in, I think, one of the writers. Obviously, some of the stars have come back,
Mm-hmm.
which has been great. So, and they said it's going to be pretty brutal. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I hope so, man, because it was I think the best Netflix Marvel adaptation out of all of them. And I thought all of them were pretty good, but the Daredevil was just incredible.
Yeah, Jessica Jones was the other one that really kind of drew me in. I
Yeah,
love that one quite a bit.
absolutely. Yeah. I would say that's 1 and 2 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
At least in my opinion. Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, let's get into Lani. So you're into Daredevil, Chip Zdarsky. You come up with your own character. Can you kind of walk through that creative process of developing your character, Lani, and then the world around it, and the string, and everything that kind of ties everything together?
Yeah, so you know, Lonnie's inspired by a lot of what inspired me to create Lonnie was by a lot of the strong women in my life that I grew up with, as well as my wife, and my daughter is going to be 17, and just my daughter's middle name is Leilani, so it just kind of all made sense. And I wanted her to be like this super strong, but also raw and vulnerable, um, female protagonist with a lot of just real feeling and real grief, real anger, and real pain, and just showing how strong she can be to overcome a lot of that. And so that kind of started it all. And and then I wanted it to be in San Diego. It just made sense to kind of use that as the backdrop. And also, I wanted to bring in some culture that is inspiring to me in the people that I know and love and the Filipino culture. So giving back to that culture and community was just showing how much of an ally I am and just how special it is to me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely a lot of loss, like right off the bat, right? We start to find out about her parents, her grandfather. There was a lot of loss, right? Which she definitely has to overcome and does so. Can you kind of talk about how important that was as the foundation for this character to be kind of who she is in the comic that we see today?
Yeah, so the background of it is that her grandfather is part of this organization from the Philippines called Ilao, or the Light, and then on the other side, kind of like the yin and yang approach, is the Dilim, or the dark, and basically the Master Laos are responsible for protecting their city. So from a young age, after her parents died and her grandfather was raising her, she had the loss of her parents, but she didn't really know them, right? She grew up with her grandfather, and he was just training her nonstop because she was going to inherit this unfortunate privilege, if you will. And so he kept training her, and then he was, murdered by this underworld trafficker named the Puppet Master, and you could see him on one of the sides there on the cover,
Yeah.
in the yellow suit. So he's just an awful, terrible human being, and her life is built around protecting the people of the city as well as investigating and getting retribution for her grandfather's murder.
Yeah, man. No, it definitely, definitely takes place, which is awesome, man. Can you kind of talk about from a publishing schedule? Have you been doing crowdfunding to kind of get the word out there, or you just personally fund this?
Yeah, I have not done a Kickstarter. I'm doing it all on my own. I contract the art through Fiverr, so I have different art from book one to book two, and book three, four, and soon five are all the same artist. So yeah, there's no outside funding at all.
Is that something that you plan on doing in the near future as you start to get into later titles?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't really put much thought into it at this point. Right now, I'm excited to get people to read the story and
Yeah.
hopefully get inspired by it and enjoy it. But no, I love what I'm doing right now.
That's so cool. So, how do people get their hands on this, Evan, if they want to collect the physical issues?
Yeah. So with this being kind of a just a hobby that is becoming, circling its way into the business, I do sell primarily on Etsy.
Okay.
But if you hit my Instagram up there at Lani Comics,
Hmm.
there's some links in my profile there for how you can get it. I do sell on Indie Planet too and things like that.
Exactly. I saw it on Indie Planet as well. Have you had a chance to visit some of your comic shops? I think you have Kamikaze. I know the big chain down there won't take anything. I've tried. You have to go through Chicago. You have to go through Diamond if you want to get into one of the larger. There's like 10 of them all over San Diego. But you have
Yeah,
Kamikaze. I don't know if you've been there. Lucky
I
and them.
yeah
They're awesome. Yeah.
yeah I have. I did some signings. I did one at Kamikaze. I did one at Now and Never.
Now and Never's
Um,
awesome too. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm about to do my second one up at Comic Stronghold in Oceanside. That's on
Nice.
November 2nd from 12 to 4. I'll have the books there. We'll have a lot of fun just chatting comics and talking about the story.
That's so cool, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
San Diego. I mean, obviously you have Comic Con there, which hopefully we'll see what happens in the near future. But man, we have some pretty amazing comic book shops down in the San Diego area, from Oceanside all the way down. So we're pretty spoiled to have so many different options.
Yeah, and just different people with different perspectives on things
Yeah,
that are all
yeah,
super nice and want to just share their passion with you on the
yeah,
comic world.
yeah, yeah. Especially someone living in their backyard creating comics. I think that's pretty cool too.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to write the story you want to read, right? So
Exactly, exactly. So, what is the plan with Alani? You think this is going to be like just an ongoing, or do you have like a certain amount of issues that you need in order to tell this story, Evan? What does it look like in the near future for people who want to jump in?
Yeah, so every book right now is a cliffhanger, essentially. So there is going to be a book five.
Yeah.
In book five, I'm going to do something a little different to try to get some spin-offs and stuff going too. In that, um, it's going to have the feel of about 30 pages of Lani, and then about another 15 pages of an origin of another character. So,
Nice.
the idea just kind of, you can learn who this person is, and then maybe one day, if it gets some interest, we can write a book run on that person too.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. I'll
Yeah,
be honest, Evan, from an independent creator standpoint, it's really hard to get past a couple issues. So once you start getting to 4 and 5, I think you're well on your way, my friend. That's awesome, man.
yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah. Thank you. It's been a long time getting here,
Yeah.
and it's been a lot of fun, a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right, so we're getting into issue 5. Are you working on 5 as we speak? And when can we see 5, you think?
So I'm working on issue five as we speak. I got the art done on the first 10 pages or so, and so I would say probably, it takes a while to get these things printed and out there. I would say probably um, right around the new year is what I'm targeting for issue five. Yeah, I mean issue
Yeah.
four just came out a few months ago, but I started working on issue five while I was kind of finalizing the touches on issue four.
Nice, nice. And as far as how far you have the story written out, like obviously art's a whole another ball game, but do you have quite a bit of the story written out through, 6 or 7 issues maybe?
I definitely do. I have, from an ideating standpoint, I have a lot of at least a straw man stuff outlined out, and then some details that are continuing even past issue five, which is, I do have some really good readers that really give great feedback, and so far everyone has been wanting more. So I'm just gonna keep writing.
Yeah, of course. That's
Yeah.
so cool, man. Did you always have a passion for writing, Evan? Did it start like at a young age, at least from a storytelling standpoint, or did that come really through comic books and just reading comic books?
It came from reading comic books, and also just watching shows and the writing within the shows, and just realizing that, hey, I have a story to tell. And I mean, and I feel like, it was always something that I was like super scared to do, because you just don't know how people are going to respond to it. And then you know you just take that leap of faith and you go ahead and write your first book, and then you realize that it's a lot of fun, and you just keep going.
Yeah, yeah, that's so cool. Have you had a chance to meet some other San Diegans that also are writing comic books down there?
Yeah, and I saw you actually had them on your show. I met the California Ink folks, which
Yeah,
Art and Dave. They're really great people.
great, great people. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and their book is fantastic, by the way, if you haven't read it. And the art is just like phenomenal. So you got to meet them, and I think only them at this point. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know too many. I did have them on, and they were amazing. In fact, they were just at Kamikaze, I think, a couple of weeks ago, doing a signing for their was it
Mhm.
issue 3 that just came out. I think they're on 4
Yeah,
now. But yeah, great people, man. Yeah, it's so cool. We have to get together, Evan. I'm down there quite often, man. It'd be
yeah.
awesome
Let's
to
do
meet
it.
at a coffee shop or something. Go hit Kamikaze or one of the other comic shops together, man. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
if anyone's at LA Comic Con, I'll be there. So
sweet.
hit me up on Instagram. I would love to just like, get to meet more people and talk more about the book and talk more about what they like to read. So,
Yeah. Have you been doing kind of a circuit of Comic Cons to get your book out there, or is this going to be one of your first ones that you're actually having a table for?
so I'm not having a table at LA.
Oh, okay.
I'm just there as a attendee. I
Yeah.
attended LA Comic Con last year as well. I didn't get to San Diego Comic Con, but I also am planning on attending the San Diego Comic Fest, which is a more local convention out here. So I'm going to attend that in the next couple weeks. So yeah, I'm trying to make my way around a little bit, but uh, haven't got a table yet.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome, man. Yeah, some of the bigger ones are hard to get into too. I've tried and they got long waiting lists and whatnot. And sometimes they're pretty expensive to be honest.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Little
and
costly, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't have outside funding, so just yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's awesome, man. Are you going to take some of your titles down there just in case you see
I
someone?
am.
Yeah.
I am actually, and last year when I went to LA Comic Con, I went there with some books of book one and book two, and got to meet so many indie creators. Got so inspired about the stuff that they do. Some of the titles out there that you wouldn't even think of are just a lot of fun to read, and the people are just so welcoming in that community. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome community, and I feel like independents are kind of going through their own golden age right now. The big two obviously are the big two, and they're going to do what they do. But some of the best stories I think are coming out of indie creators. It's just I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun. I probably spend almost as much on indie stuff as I do on the big two, maybe even a little bit more to be honest. Just
Wow.
because there's so much, like you said, the diversity of thought and storytelling and everything that's happening within comic books is really fun to pick up an indie and see what an Evan comes up with when he's writing a book, right, in a storyline.
Yeah, and I try to support some Kickstarters too. I mean,
Yeah,
these indie creators, we work really really hard on our books and our stories, um and like I said, we write what we want to read, and hope that other people want to read it too. And when you get that feel that even that one person, that one fan just
yeah,
enjoyed reading your book, and that just inspires you to write the second one.
a hundred
It's wonderful.
percent, yeah, 100%, yeah. Now, has your daughter had any input into the character?
No input. Definitely inspired me in certain just strengths that she has and
Yeah,
independence that she has, but no input at all.
yeah. That's cool. Yeah. I think it's so fun to be able to take your family and kind of incorporate them in a very small way. I try to do the same thing. I have
Nice.
4 kids, so I've tried to create a character for each of them, even though it has nothing to do with them. I tried to create something so that they're at least their names in there somehow. I think that's pretty fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and who better to get inspired from than your family? I mean, it's just
Exactly.
like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. Well, right on, Evan. I think it's awesome, man. Congratulations on the 4 issues. Fun read, man. We need to blast this out, and don't be afraid to get on Kickstarter, my friend. It's a storefront. That's how you have to look at it. It's not a people giving money to you; they're buying from you
Hmm.
your product, right? And man, it's become kind of my second comic book shop. I'm fortunate in Hemet here. We do have a comic store. Which I know a lot of towns don't have a comic shop. So I feel very fortunate. But Kickstarter or Indiegogo or Fund My Comic, all these, they're kind of my second comic shop. So I like kind of shopping through there. I'm like, oh, wow, that looks pretty interesting, or the art looks amazing. And I shop around there as well. So don't be afraid of that, Evan. That'd be awesome.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at it and consider it for a future book. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. Well, Evan, man, anything else we're missing, man? I'm gonna blast out all the links below, make it super simple for people to get these into their hands. It is an amazing read. If you, like you said, if you do love Daredevil, John Wick, anything like that, man, I feel like there's some similarities that I think you're gonna really dig, man. Great fight scenes. The drama is amazing. And then the story of Lani is, like you said, she's had to overcome quite a bit. And
Yeah.
I think people like that feeling of watching someone who had some unfortunate things happen in their lives and to watch them overcome. I mean, it always inspires me.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you definitely hit the nail on the head with like the John Wick feel, the Jessica Jones feel, the Elektra feel, the
Yeah.
Daredevil. And it's really like you said, she's been through a lot, and there's something inspiring about reading something that you can relate to. And if you know anyone that has like some vulnerability in their life, had to overcome some things, and just becomes a total badass, and just one of the strongest people you've ever met, then I think you'll like this book.
I think so. Yeah. It really becomes kind of a driving force into what motivates her. And obviously that's a pretty inspired person, right? If they could use negativity, I don't even know if we can call it negativity, right? They're just life experiences that you go through
Mm-hmm.
that create trauma. You could use it to get into a really bad place, or you could use it as fuel to take your vision to a next level. And with the responsibility she has over San Diego, you could see how she used it, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, and if you want to see more art than what's behind me right now, on
Yeah.
Instagram, I'm always posting art from the book. I try to post almost every day. So take
Yeah.
a look at what I got there, and reach out to me. I'm happy to chat more about it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Let me throw some of the art up right now for you, for people to see though, because I agree with you, man. It's been a lot of fun. I'll throw up issue. You want issue one? I don't want to give too much away, but I mean the art, or do you want
Yeah,
issue four? What should I put up there?
maybe something from issue 4, if
Okay,
you
I
got
got it.
something.
I'm gonna pull it up right now. That way people could check it out. It's like I said, a lot of fun, man. I love this picture, by the way.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
city overlooking,
and
and the bridge to oh, go ahead.
oh, sorry, yeah, and the fogginess there, and
Yeah.
just yeah.
And if you live in San Diego, you know what bridge that is.
You do. You know a bridge that could be, yeah.
Exactly,
For
exactly.
sure.
Which is really cool. I don't live in San Diego, but I've worked in San Diego for 20 plus years, off and on with different jobs. And it's kind of cool to see a comic book that is centered there in such an amazing city.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you see it very often, right? So
No, we need more of that, man. I have a friend who's trying to do a children's book, but it'll be big. He lives in San Diego and Chula Vista as well, and him and his boy. He has two young boys, and they're really into comics. So he's going to try and create more of a like a kids book, but definitely based in San Diego. He wants his kids and their friends to be able to relate to everything that you would do in San Diego while having some fun with some characters. But yeah, the art is incredible. And like I said,
yeah.
the storyline is really cool, man.
Well, thank you. I mean, I really, really appreciate the compliment.
Yeah.
Definitely work hard on it, and love the characters, and it's something I love to do, and I want to keep doing it.
Yeah. I love this one right here too. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. Oh, it's awesome. Congratulations, Evan, man. You're welcome anytime to come on the podcast, my friend. We're neighbors, and I do look forward to meeting you in person, man. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and we could exchange all the craziness of trying to put comic books together. It's not
absolutely.
not as easy as you would think it should be. It
Yeah, we
takes a
can
lot of work.
brainstorm ideas, right?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And maybe we get Art and the team over in California together. We'll go have lunch together, man. That'd be fun.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
That'd be a
Well,
fun.
Evan Golden, man. Everybody out there, if you're not reading Lani, The Light of the Dark, man, check it out. 4 issues, 5 coming, maybe at the beginning of next year. But plenty of storyline. And it's cool, man. We'll make sure we blast this and make it super easy for everybody to get their hands on it. But Evan, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on and hanging out with me on a Saturday morning. I appreciate it, man. I've been traveling a lot, so I haven't been able to get in front of my computer and do this, but it's been a lot of fun meeting you. I know we've gone back and forth. I'm glad we finally made it happen, and I hope this isn't our last time, my friend.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for having me on board. I love watching the podcast, and I'm really excited to just keep chatting and keep collaborating.
Let's do it, my friend. I appreciate it, Evan. Well, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, my friend, and we'll talk soon, okay?
You too. Take care.
All right, you too.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.